what was arguably the most memorable, greatest celebration of Sukkos in history. What comes to mind? There was one, it's not talked about all that much. Take out Sefer Nehemiah. That's a Sefer, by the way. That's actually not, to be fair. It's Ezra Nehemiah. The Christians made up a separate Sefer called Nehemiah. It's one of those at the end of the Tanakh that people don't turn those pages so frequently, but it's a good one and worth some examination. If you want to open it up, it's in Perek Ches, and the pasuk at hand that let's consider for a moment is a very difficult one to understand, and a lot of ink has been spilled over. You'll look at Perek Ches pasuk Yud Zayin. Listen to the original. V'yasu chol ka'al hashavim min hashvi Sukkos v'yeshu v'Sukkos ki lo asu mimei Yeshua ben Nun. Kain b'nei Yisrael ad hayom hahu v'tihi simcha gedola ma'od. The entire congregation that had returned from the captivity. Let's put this in context. This is coming back from Galus Bavel. The first temple was destroyed. About 70 years, not quite, has elapsed since the destruction. There's Shivat Zion. There's return. Ezra has recently made Aliyah. You remember the beginning of the 4th chapter of Kiddushim. It talks about the Sarah Yuchsin, Alumi Bavel. And that's the scene right now that we find Klal Yisrael, and I'll continue the translation. It's an extraordinary time. They made Sukkos, they dwelled in the Sukkos. The children of Israel had not done so from the days of Yeshua ben Nun until that day. And there was very great joy. Now, this is a tricky pasuk and the subject of a lot of discussion, because what does that mean? What, the Jews had not been celebrating Sukkos? They did not experience it's Zman Simchas Deinu. They didn't know from joy until Ezra came back from the Galus. So we don't have time to go through all of the Mefarshim. The Rimi Trani has a pshat. He said that that the level of rejoicing in the midst of Sukkah had not been experienced since the days of Yeshua. It still kind of leaves something like, why? Well, what were they missing? Well, the Gemara in Arachin goes into it's big, wide open machlokus about whether or not the Kedusha that Yeshua had originally established was still binding or not binding. And one of the comments in the Gemara there is what I'm going to leave us with, is resonant. It says over there that there was something special now, and sometimes we appreciate what we have when we can't have it. The Jews had suddenly been bereft of their land, and the mitzvahs clearly are meant to be kept in Eretz HaKodesh. And so when you can't have something, and suddenly you have it, it's all the more precious. And here are Am Yisrael coming back to Eretz Yisrael en masse. Not all of them. Some of them stayed in Babel. That's another discussion. And they're dwelling in Sukkos, and their mamish, it's the house of the Shechina, and they've made tshuva, they've gone through the Yamim Noraim, and now they're mamish resplendent in the Ananei Kavod in Kimei Hashemayim Ala Aretz, and there's a great Akaras Tov, and it's resonant for us because we're coming back too, in whichever shape or form we're coming back. A lot leaves to be desired. But the fact that we're here, that we're zochim to be dwelling in Sukkos, to be at an elevated level, to appreciate what we have, especially for all these centuries we couldn't have it, is mein olam haba. Should have a Chag kasher v'sameach.